highlight of your birthday real quick.
Highlight of my birthday, man.
Dave and Buster's. Pop a shot.
It was Evan facing off against his fiance in Mario Kart, and him just being savage.
Oh, you didn't get.
He
like have one, bro?
No. He had the banana peels on the back, and he went right in front of her on purpose so she would spin out.
Yo,
That was a boss move.
Inside and cut right in front of her, right across in front of her. I went.
I immediately caught eyes with JP. I was like, oh snap!
I could fully attest that the A+ has zero manners. Zero. I do mean zero. He will be in the doghouse for the majority of this marriage.
Evan's got a comfy couch. I'm glad he does.
It must be Z Gallery plush leather. It got to be that Ethan Allen special edition.
Oh man! So Evan's Mario Kart. That was the top. Anything else from the birthday? Anything good?
I hit a lot of jumpers.
Yeah,
in real life.
It was a good time. I'm glad everybody came out and had a blast, and so
Happy birthday,
bros.
Brobes.
Thanks, brother.
All right, let's start. And welcome back inside the bullpen, episode 6, gentlemen. We're on video for those of you watching on YouTube. Thanks for checking us out on our YouTube channel. If you're listening on iTunes, be sure to check out said YouTube channel. Everyone's in the bullpen today. Brandon, Evan, JP, Dan, we're all here. We've got Vic running audio for us. B. Murray in the house, taking care of the video duties. Thanks for helping us out, guys, as we try something new here on the bullpen. Let's take a hydration check, everyone. Brandon, what do you got over there?
Same thing I was drinking last week because I forgot to bring in a really special beer that got sent to me from the East Coast for my birthday, and I'm a moron. So 2 weeks from now when we come back, I'll be sure to bring it in, and I'm only bringing one in because, again, it's like currency.
All right.
So we'll share it.
All right. Ev, what do you got?
I'll go on the vanilla latte, non-fat, to stay awake in my Arizona State mug. Territorial Cup week, Sun Devil is going to win. Prop 200. Pass it.
Woot woot.
Difficult to follow that,
Woot.
I'm going to go with prop sponsorship. Metro Man, I tweeted you this week. It was a day ago. No one has got back to me, but that's okay because I've been patient this entire process. Let's get this sponsorship, man. Let's talk these dollars. Holla at me.
All right, and I'm rolling with the, this is Bear Republic's Racer X Double IPA. I've had the Racer 5. This double's pretty good, though, 8.3 alcohol by volume. So we'll see how that goes.
So you're not making it through half the show.
Yep.
Super.
Fan final scores should be really exciting at the end of the show. All right,
70 billion points.
let's jump into what's been going on this week. Peyton Manning really making the news of the NFL. He had a really tough Sunday, although he did set an NFL record, but then had a tough, slow clap
so
for Peyton.
Awkward for him.
I know, right? But anyway, so a lot of criticism this week. Evan, kind of break down this story for us a little bit.
Yeah, so the record he set was most passing yards in NFL career on Sunday, and that lost to the Chiefs. However, he threw 4 interceptions in the first half, I believe, and that makes 17 on the season against 9 touchdowns. He got benched for Arizona State former quarterback Brock Osweiler. I'm going to drop as many ASU references as I can. Thank you. Basically, a lot of spew has been sent Peyton Manning's way based on his play. And really, he's been terrible when you look at the statistics. But Brandon Marshall, New York Jets wide receiver, is on Inside the NFL on Showtime on TV and was talking about the criticism facing Peyton Manning. And he said, listen, we're not immortal. It happens to all of us. It's going to happen to me. I'm still playing. You guys, referring to Phil Simms and Boomer Esiason, also on the show, you guys retired. You can't play forever. So for us to bash Peyton Manning, it's disrespectful. That's all I hear. Peyton Manning's done. It's disrespectful the way we're talking about it. Is it really disrespectful? I don't think so, Brandon. You think it's kind of a trend that's kind of starting, that we tend to knock down these athletes once they get late in their career and start to show signs of weakness.
I understand that, yes, he's not having the year that we're normally used to out of him, and you can tell that he's declining. And it's a story. It obviously is a story because he's had such a great career, but I think we tend to forget, like, we're so short-sighted, and we're just, it's the what have you done for me lately kind of society where we can't, or it's you can't wait until this person is on a pedestal to knock him down.
Yeah.
Like with Brady, people were hammering him when the Deflategate thing came out, and what happened? Really nothing. And so now Brady's like, oh, I'm going to stick it to you now. But it's so sad that we don't appreciate greatness, and I'm guilty to this too. Like I want to sit there. I should more often watch these guys and appreciate what we're watching, regardless of the sport.
JP, and this is coming from Brandon Marshall, who's got a high reputation as well. What are your thoughts here?
I just think he used the wrong terminology. I'm not sure. I read his quote, the entire thing. I get what he was saying. Like, maybe people need to at least lighten up a little bit on Peyton Manning, but he kind of has to understand also. He said that I will get old one day, and that's a prelude to what? There are 4 things that always happen: death, taxes, cuffin season, and everybody losing the father time. Father time is undefeated. Peyton Manning is a world-class athlete, even at his age now, but he is playing past his prime. You can see his body physically breaking down, and like people are getting these jokes off. People are now getting sensitive. I mean, I don't know when he's supposed to hang it up. I'm not Peyton Manning. I'm not his family, his kids, his wife, etc. But I mean, he's at the end of the rope. I mean, he's reached the pinnacle. He's won a Super Bowl. He's been MVP. What else does he have to prove? Like, he's playing now, and he gets hurt every game. The plantar fascia, he can't feel his fingers. I mean, what's next? He gets concussed. I feel like he should just probably gracefully bow out and don't trip off of what people are saying, because they're still just words.
Yeah, JP mentions a point I was about to mention. Yeah, to look at his recent play, he has been injured. I mean, that plays into it as well, too. The offensive line is a little bit weaker than what it's been in recent seasons. I mean, it was just 2 years ago that he went out and threw 53 touchdowns.
Correct.
55 touchdowns in a season.
That was his first year in Denver.
Right. Second year in Denver.
Sorry.
But, yeah, I agree with your point. I think it's part of it's a jealousy thing. We all wish we had the talents of a guy like Peyton Manning to play football for a living.
And 137 Papa Johns under our belts.
Right. Like,
He's fine.
As a Vikings fan, I need to appreciate Aaron Rodgers more. As a Vikings fan, I shouldn't appreciate Aaron Rodgers because he's on the enemy's team. But what he's doing and what he's accomplished so far and what he's going to do, like, I should just sit there and watch and be like, okay, this guy's pretty damn good. But because he plays for, the rival team of my team, like, I can't wait till he starts to decline so I can, either slam him or, just at least the Packers won't be as good. But
That just makes me want to appreciate Olivia Munn.
Yeah.
I mean, that's who should get a lot of the appreciation there.
that's a whole different topic of conversation.
This conversation leads into an ESPN article from Wednesday as well, saying that Peyton Manning joins a long list of Hall of Fame quarterbacks who actually played too long, and I'll mention a few of these just to see how you guys feel about these names on this list. Brett Favre, who retired in 2010 or stopped playing in 2010. Troy Aikman, Jim Kelly, Dan Fouts, Joe Namath, and Johnny Unitas all playing well past their prime. And my question to you is, these kind of articles, this is exactly what we're talking about, but will this criticism, well, first of all, do you think he's played too long? And second of all, does this criticism still apply if Denver makes a deep run in the postseason? Are we all going to be regretting this conversation we're having?
It applies. I mean, he could still ball out, but he could still get hurt. Troy Aikman is the best example. I will never forget when LeVar Arrington almost ended Troy Aikman's life. He hit him so hard, and in the process of obliterating him, his helmet bounced off that AstroTurf 3 times, and he just laid there, like wreathing in pain. And he never played another snap after that. Would never wish that upon anybody, but Peyton Manning could be next. Like, who knows who comes on the backside blitz and one of these linemen or running backs don't pick it up. Like, Peyton Manning could also crumble. It only takes one hit.
Yeah, it kind of makes me think of Joe, too. Montana, to some degree,
God.
who was never the same
Aeneas
after
Williams had the hit on a Monday night. It was at Sun Devil Stadium. I remember watching that game and just you just knew his career was done at that point.
Steve Young got concussed like that?
Yeah, exactly. It's tough because has he played too long? I respect an athlete who can step away and say, I just don't have it anymore. But I also respect the fact that a guy doesn't want to give up on that hope. I've still got one more shot to go out there and win a Super Bowl ring. And this team was considered a Super Bowl contender when the year started. And they still are.
Yeah,
They're
right.
7-2. I mean, will it be with Brock Osweiler, quarterback, or Peyton Manning? We'll find out.
Well, and that's the thing. If this was a team that was like 3-6, you'd be shaking your head. But he still has that one shot. He doesn't like you pointed out earlier. He doesn't have anything left to prove. But you can't fault the guy for still wanting to compete and still wanting to be at least somewhat elite at what he does. You know, because you're right. Some athletes just they don't know anything else. You know, and this guy's literally had a football in his hand since he was a kid. So, you know, you can't really fault him for wanting to play, especially when the Broncos are, as you know, their defense is as good as, you know, they have been.
Doesn't this remind you of Any Given Sunday? This is Cap Rooney. Except for Brock Osweiler's not Willie Beeman, but this is Cap Rooney. And this is Cap supposed to be sitting down. And, of course, in this one, his wife was the one that was pushing him to keep playing because of the money. But still, he had won a chip.
Yeah.
He was a Hall of Famer, first ballot. And she was just pushing him to go back out there, And he got hit in the back.
So Kubiak is Al Pacino?
Yeah, Brock Osweiler couldn't be any further from Willie
Well,
Beeman.
that's what
So
But I like the movie.
I love that
I'm
movie.
not knocking the movie.
I feel like
similar
it fits.
situation.
No, it does.
So
DeMarcus Ware is LT.
I feel like Kubiak is Crozier.
Crozier, yeah.
You're just an offensive coordinator, Crozier.
I had $1 for every time you said that line.
Yeah.
Well,
It'd be
you know
$7.
you know what else
$7
the Broncos team
baby.
is missing? They don't have an elite back like LL Cool J.
To fumble the ball away?
No, I'm just saying. But they, the guys that they have right now do a great job of fumbling the ball away.
You're very right.
So,
All right, last thing on this. What do you think the Broncos should do here? Should they shut him down until the postseason or almost to the postseason?
Well, football players are warriors. I mean, I never play in the
see
league.
how
but
Brock does for a couple weeks.
Okay.
it's Peyton Manning. Like, you kind of got to show Peyton Manning the
you're
respect
playing
of
the
letting him
Bears
play
this
out.
weekend.
Right.
Let him get his feet wet in that game, and then see what he can do against another team. And then if you have to, bring Peyton Manning back. But you also want to make sure Peyton's right.
Do you bring Manning back for Brady Manning Bowl in 2 weeks?
Ooh.
I mean, that's the thing.
Oh, no,
This
no.
could be the last
So,
one, or maybe we already saw the last one.
No, I you know what? Let Brock do Patriots. See.
So you just
Well, you're not gonna. You're two
You just
games
gift
back of
wrap
the
that one.
Patriots already. You're 2 games back of him already. You're not going to catch him.
I mean,
Yeah.
Patriots are
you're right.
losing. Patriots are losing 1 game,
And you don't got to worry
maybe.
about the Chiefs or Raiders
Right.
catching you. You're 3 games up on them.
Yeah.
and all you've got left is a couple of matches with the Chargers.
Because guess what? If Brock is your quarterback of the future, he's going to have to face that defense down the line again. So
maybe
you
you
might
bring
as
him,
well.
Maybe you bring him back for the Cincinnati game, week 16. Maybe I don't know. That's a tough one. Anyway, we'll see what they do. But unfortunately, it's somewhat of a bummer for Peyton after setting that record on Sunday. Another bummer this past weekend as well. We somehow find a way to talk about her every single week here on the podcast. Ronda Rousey had a tough weekend, JP.
this one's cool because she got her entire face beat in.
Yeah.
She talked a lot of noise. Like, I heard a lot of people write articles and tweets and other nonsense about, well, she was just trying to sell the fight because you got to sell the fight. Like, nah, she talked a lot of noise and she didn't back a single smidget of it up.
Well, the one line that she said when we interviewed her for Yahoo was the fact
drop.
that she said, I want this more than Holly Holm. She doesn't want this as bad as I do. And I asked her, I said, how do you know that? Like, why do you go out there and say, for no question, no one wants more than, because I'm willing to die in there. Well,
You died.
Kind
she
of.
got knocked
That's
out.
exactly what she
For
said.
all
too.
intents and purposes, for the ring, you died.
Yeah.
Well, and that was the thing she said on she predicted it on Jimmy Fallon a month ago. She said she's going to try to kick me in the head, and guess what? She kicked her in the head.
Which
and that was
conspiracy
it.
theorists can start that talk, too, about
Well, yeah.
was the fight fixed?
What about conspiracy theorists
Yeah,
talking
but-
about all the left jabs and hooks that she took to the
Yeah.
mouth? That's
why
not a conspiracy.
Why would it be
She couldn't
fixed?
defend the
if-
boxer.
Didn't she have plastic surgery?
Yeah,
on
she
her
had
lip.
to get her entire lip reattached.
Why would you want to fix a fight and then get plastic surgery? Nobody wants that. So
She was fixing to get that behind tattoo, which happened. The main thing is I'm proud of Floyd Mayweather, man, because everybody wants to dog Floyd about X, Y, Z, A, B, C, D, and E, and he took the highest role possible and even said that he would help her with her boxing. I am not that guy. And he said he claims to be
how
a man
awkward
of
would
cloth.
that be?
Like
That you
that's the
wanna
God
talk
in
about-
Floyd right there. I'm impressed.
You want to talk about a pay-per-view event?
you
Floyd teaching Ronda how to box.
Let me ask you
Break
this,
the internet.
JP, because I know sometimes you are the one who likes to really question someone's motives when they say something. You think he really wants to help Ronda Rousey learn how to box?
See, I don't know. I feel as though when she was on those verbal attacks, that Floyd is so high above her and that nonsense that he didn't trip. Like, you would only really attack back, for lack of a better term, or clap back or clown her back if you felt some type of way about the words that she said. But clearly he was like, yeah, I'm not really bugging off that. Like, that's cool. And then he told her the one time, like, big bank take little bank. So if you're this prolific fighter, you would make more money than me in the process. And then she ended up losing. So she's not undefeated like he was, which she said she was going to be. And she has the blemish on her record. So he might be serious.
I think he's also in a no-lose situation by saying that because he looks good in his eyes and the supporters' eyes by saying it. But also...
But there are people out there that have already...
He probably also really knows, is she going to take me up on this?
No.
If she was smart, she would.
Well, Floyd will charge her, too.
Through the nose, as he should. Quadruple.
Yeah, he doesn't have any money, so why
Yeah,
try to make as much as he can?
Yeah, you know,
America is a business.
America is not a country. It is a business. We're going to say that every podcast until everybody at home
that should
understands
be our
it.
tagline.
Yep. Yeah.
So, hey, man, Floyd is doing... I feel like this could be philanthropy. He could call this community service.
He's got a lot of community service to serve.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess he's going to start...
You just got to get the judge to sign off on that as being appropriate community service.
I mean, he does philanthropy, so, I mean, he could just add this to the list. Shout out to Ronda Rousey when she wakes up. Instead of being drowsy, we're just going to say, dang, he's Rousey. Every time somebody gets concussed in an NFL game, just like, wow, that's Rousey.
Wow.
Well, Ronda says she'll be back. Looks like probably next summer, I believe, is what they're
UFC
estimating.
200 at the new Las Vegas arena, they're saying.
So that'll probably be a rematch,
That'll be
I
the
would
rematch?
assume.
She should probably start hanging out with Manny Pacquiao because they both sleepy. Right? Wouldn't that be a cool tandem?
I forget who she picked in that fight, remember? In the Maypac fight?
Oh.
She picked Pacquiao.
Yeah, so there you go.
So like they both have something in common. They like long naps.
All right, moving on. Brandon, I believe we have our first sponsorship of the podcast. Let's bring it out. What do we got?
Sponsored by the University of Iowa bookstore.
Oh,
wherever
man.
Our
All
beloved Iowa Hawkeye Andy Behrens got this from. He got us basketballs.
What kind of loot we got in there?
Yo, shout out Andy Behrens.
That for sure.
Yeah, we got socks.
Oh, where's the kitty
sandwich-
socks? Give me the kitty socks.
No, I gave you the kitty socks.
Jaden's going to love these.
Yeah. We got headbands.
Sweet.
Here you go, some
these are
sticky memo notes if you guys need.
I thought that was a mic flag.
Two headbands. We got all kinds
This is great.
you guys want that lip balm? Keep
yeah.
those
Gotta
keep those lips fresh.
Wow.
I don't think
Evan pockets it.
I don't think I want a Hawkeye lip.
Not mint flavor.
But then he goes, so he gives us all this swag and says, talk about my team. And
we
then
will.
he goes and he jumps on another podcast.
What?
Yeah.
What?
See, and the worst part about that podcast
He
is that
cheated on us.
See, it's not even that. The worst part about him hopping on the other podcast is that they actually spoke about something on this podcast and used it wrong.
What happened?
Oh, did they talk about cuffing season? I didn't listen to it.
They did, and that's where it started.
I'll wear the lanyard.
All right, we'll get into that a little bit later, but
Also, bless Andy Barron's soul, as he is referred to as the Reverend.
Yeah.
The Reverend forgot about tithes and offerings because this bag doesn't have any money in it. If you're
sponsorship is all merch.
if you're trying to sway recruits, sometimes you need deposits.
You can get a sandwich.
I feel like
a sandwich there.
round 2, Andy, we gonna need some money.
All right, well, Andy, thanks for all the swag. This is good stuff here.
Yeah, thank you, Andy.
We'll be donning the Iowa
Appreciate it.
colors today.
Do you think he sent a bag to Pat Forde?
I bet you he did. Forde probably got money.
Pat, tweet me back if you got
Forde
a bag.
got money. Hey, toss me one of those wristbands. I'll wear one of the wristbands.
That was actually going back to what we talked about with Brandon's birthday. One of the other great parts of the night was at the place we went to at the arcade games. They had a horse racing game.
Oh yeah.
So of course that catches our attention, and we go over and JP gets on it, and of course you text Forde and say, "Hey, which horse did I bet on?" And he says his reply is the brown one.
That is exactly what he said.
Oh, man.
And then the game froze on you because some jerk spilled his drink on the controls.
But get this, I did choose the brown horse, and I named the horse Forde.
And you were out like 2 horse lengths in front of him.
I trained that horse. I trained him. We ran around in the yard. He hopped over a couple little obstacles. I thought it was a real life equestrian. I was like the biggest black jockey ever. And then this young man who was with his baby decided to do a pirouette and spill his drink right before my race started. So I knew it was already fixed because he was clearly hating and trying to hold me down. So the race does start, and man, Forde just was out there huffing. He was trotting.
I like he's hitting the thing like he was pushing the button.
Because that's how it was on the game. You got to get the horse in sync with the jockey. So you got to press these 2 buttons and you got to turn the horse. So my horse is about 7 lengths out and gaining ground. And then the game said, network error. and then my screen went black, and it just froze.
It froze and went straight black. It was great.
But shout out to Forde for the expert advice. The thoroughbred was going to win us big money. Okay, we might have gone for the Triple Crown, Preakness, all that good jazz. So next time, I will be more prepared. And I'll actually have somebody probably section off with some emergency
we're going back again this Friday.
Oh, wow.
JP and I are going to go back. We're going to
time to win some money.
Yep. We're going to go hammer it down.
All right, well, we got our Iowa Hawkeyes gear here.
Iowa S.
Yeah, the Iowa S.
Dan's drunk.
It's also rivalry. I can never say it.
Dan is drunk.
Like the commercial.
Hold on.
Rivalry week.
Yeah, that's right. It's rivalry week in college football, and we thought we haven't done one of these in a while. Quiz show with Brandon's going to lead this. Got some of the famous trophies in college football. I know very few of them, so he's going to read a few of those.
Trophies and some of the games.
Yeah, sure.
Some of them had just their titles games, and they don't have specific trophies, but some do.
Okay.
So I don't know how you guys want me to do this. You want me to go just throw it out
pitch
to
them
everybody?
Out there. Yeah.
I just want Paul Bunyan's axe.
Okay. No, that one's too easy. I didn't put that one on the list.
Fair enough.
First one: 100 Miles of Hate.
Oh.
That's between me and any ex-girlfriend's house. I will wear that trophy.
100 Miles of Hate.
Well, it's clearly Southern, so
give us a conference. Is it?
Well, I don't really. Yeah, these are like they're smaller schools.
Oh, okay.
They're not Power 5.
this is it's in the South.
That's going to be too hard.
You're going real deep here.
Sorry.
That's all right. No, we're good. We're good. I don't have a guess here.
I mean, I just know it's in the South.
One of them's mascots really scares the crap out of a good friend of ours.
Oh, that's an inside joke.
Inside joke.
Oh,
all right. What do we got?
Western Kentucky.
Oh,
The Hilltoppers. Western Kentucky and Middle Tennessee.
Okay.
100 Miles of Hate.
yeah.
All right, what else we got?
All right, the Fremont Cannon is the trophy handed out in this game.
Oh, it's American High School against Mission San Jose.
Yeah, I was
Yes,
gonna
it
say
is.
it's not.
Played at Tech.
Wow.
The game is called the Battle of Nevada, if that helps.
Okay, so it's probably Nevada UNLV. Thank you for the hint. That helps.
Cheers to Dan.
All right.
Well, you wanted to hint on the last
Thank you.
one.
No, we're going to need them if they're completely obscure.
The Deep South's oldest rivalry is what this one is called.
I was going to make a joke, but that was going to be so off color. Wow.
Deep South.
Thank God we're well lit.
Is it historically black college?
No.
That was where the joke was probably going to go.
SEC schools.
Both of them?
Mm-hmm.
Well, one of them's got to be Arkansas.
Nope.
It's not Bama.
Georgia?
Yep.
Yeah, I was going to say Georgia, but then I was thinking Georgia Tech, but...
Are they playing Vanderbilt?
Georgia Auburn.
Georgia Auburn.
Really?
Not to be confused with the following one, the South's oldest rivalry. So there's a Deep South's oldest rivalry and a South's oldest rivalry.
Okay.
The South's oldest rivalry, ACC schools. Which is ironic because they both started in 1892.
North Carolina involved?
Mm-hmm.
NC State?
Nope.
North Carolina has Vanderbilt, don't they?
Nope.
This week?
North Carolina Duke?
Nope. Tiki Barber.
Oh, Virginia.
There you go.
All right, North Carolina. That is the South's oldest rivalry.
Those are deep, man.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
These are hard.
The Floyd of Rosedale.
Yeah, again, man, you went expert level on this.
Iowa, Purdue.
Iowa.
Oh, there you go, Andy Barnes.
Iowa State?
This game was played last weekend.
Oh.
Minnesota.
There you go.
There you go. Iowa, Minnesota.
Now,
Interesting.
Minnesota is in some of the most ridiculous rivalry trophies.
Send some of them our way. We don't have to guess
They're
them.
also in the $5 bits of broken chair trophy
Against?
Nebraska, which is ironic because they've only been like this rivalry's been around since 1900, but they've only been been Big Ten rivals for the past couple years. Now, my favorite one, the Shula Bowl, which gives out the Don Shula Trophy, has been around since 2002. Florida Atlantic and FIU.
Which have no ties to Don Shula.
Exactly. It's great. Last one.
Yeah.
Chancellor's Spurs. They're giving away to the winners of this.
The Chancellor's
Spurs.
So Cam Chancellor went to Va-Tech. So Va-Tech in Blacksburg, Virginia is one school. So Virginia Tech against who? Vernon Davis?
You know, Maryland?
The Spurs?
Okay, against the Terps because he said he took his Spurs. So Cam took his soul.
That would have been a great, 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon to that one.
That is probably incorrect.
Chancellor Spurs.
Texas Tech. The Chancellor Spurs. There's an entire
Isn't that called
list.
something else?
Yeah, I thought it was
No.
like burritos.
No,
Isn't Texas? What's the Red River rivalry?
that's Oklahoma, Texas.
Oklahoma.
Texas, Oklahoma. Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right.
Real quick though,
Yeah.
best rivalry game in college football.
Bama,
I like how you did that. Like
Bama versus Auburn.
I just because when I used to work at the restaurant, I used to have we used to do huge business that day. It was always really fun. I really enjoyed Michigan State, and it's always.
well, I know what he picks, and I'm just going to be contrarian just so we don't get two territorial cups on here. I'm going to go Michigan, Ohio State.
Well, yeah, that's obviously the big
Solid.
That's the big one. I mean, don't forget about the Valley Cup though.
The Valley.
San Jose
I
State,
almost
Fresno
put that
State.
on the list just to
They already
give
played
you
that
one.
this year.
I thought he was gonna say like San Jose State versus Evergreen Community College.
I almost put
We
that
might
in there.
win.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right. Well, a lot of those big rivalries will be played in obviously some of the biggest stadiums in the country. And the random shot for this week is, and this actually stems from, I'll actually be playing a game at the SAP Center here in San Jose, an ice hockey game.
Congratulations.
Before we come back for the podcast. Yeah, I'm playing it in a couple weeks. So, but what I wanted to ask you guys was a stadium that you would most want to play a game in, and this is any sport, and this could be a golf course for you too, Evan, if you have one. But where would you really want to play a game?
Are we starting with me?
Yeah, Brandon, let's start with you.
Can I go like old school
Yeah.
and say like straight up the Coliseum?
Yeah. Oh, like the
Yeah.
Coliseum?
Oh, yeah.
Like
the
Greece.
Coliseum, like Sparta.
Were you a Maximus
Yeah.
Aurelius
Yeah.
Aurelius?
Send in the Lions.
I'm Russell Crowe, just out there. I probably won't last as long
In
as
the
you. I'm dead.
Coliseum.
I'm dead in like
That's
2
great.
minutes, but that would
good
be
one.
awesome.
That's sweet.
All right.
Ev?
I'll give the Oakland Coliseum a slight edge. to the original Coliseum.
What about the LA Coliseum?
And that's third. That's the third Coliseum.
Wow, a lot of ASU losses happened there.
The Coliseum. Wow, yeah, that's fair. Oakland Coliseum and then LA Coliseum. Yeah, I've played Pebble Beach as a golfer, so I can't say that. St. Andrews then. Got to be St.
Yeah.
Andrews.
JP?
I want to go to the Big House. Because the cool
be
thing about the
sweet.
Big House is like the
Yeah.
Big House is in the ground. I don't think
Yeah.
people know that because they haven't been there. So this is ground level and like the field is down here. So you're
Yeah.
playing a football game below sea level. So when it gets loud, like the sound doesn't really escape. It just kind of hovers over you. So I'd rather play a game in the Big House.
Yeah, isn't it like you walk up to the stadium and it's literally like you're at the top of the stadium.
Yeah, and it goes
just walking
straight and
up
it goes
to
straight down. Yeah.
That's freaking awesome.
There's quite a few stadiums that are actually built like that, where
Yeah.
you walk in like halfway, like the LA
it-
Coliseum. I think
Yeah.
you walk in midway.
Yeah.
That's nowhere near as electric.
No, it's not.
As the
But I'm
Big
just
House.
saying it's But you're right. I think to have the entire stadium in the ground like that's pretty cool.
Yeah, the last for me, I think the only place I could think of that would be
Other
really
than the
cool for a
SAP
hockey
Center?
game. Well, I mean that's not really like hallowed ground. I was
Yeah.
actually going to say the
Joe Louis.
The Spartan Stadium
No,
even have a real name?
I was going to say the Olympic Fieldhouse in Lake Placid. I think that would be really cool. The only thing weird about that is there's only 8,000 seats in there, which I was surprised when I looked that up.
That's not enough.
Right, but I mean, but just the hallowed ground of it,
Where the
to know-
US beat
where
the
the US beat the
Soviets. Yeah,
Soviets.
that
Yeah,
would
well,
be
and
awesome.
won the gold medal that year as
Right,
well. They
yeah.
played in there. So
You really love hockey.
well, as in, yeah.
I
Yeah,
think-
I
think
told
you were
Dan,
Canadian.
I told Dan anytime we talk about hockey on this podcast, we're just going to give you a coloring book so you can like keep yourself occupied for like 10 minutes.
Hey, shout out to Ovechkin because if the Caps could ever get a team behind him, we'd win Lord
We
Stanley's
got
Cup.
Stars Caps tomorrow night, JP. You want to wager another
Nah,
cribbage,
set?
cribbage,
Oh,
cribbage
where
set?
is the cribbage set?
Well,
It was
bring
delivered.
Yeah, no, I got
Delivered.
it. Again, like I forgot the beer. I forgot to bring the cribbage set in here.
Yeah.
I'll bring it in next week or 2 weeks from now.
All right. Well, it's some interesting stadiums. If you have one that, if you play a sport or want to play a sport and you have a famous stadium or somewhere you'd like to play, send us an email or a tweet. What's our Twitter handle, Bropes?
At the Bullpen Pod.
At the Bullpen Pod, or you can email
POD.
us at bullpenpodcast@gmail.com. Almost forgot it there for a second. Moving on to some stories that kind of surprised us this week. Cam Newton's getting some reaction from some mothers out there. A mother of a 9-year-old wrote a letter to Cam Newton after the Panthers won last week, saying, congratulations on your win over Tennessee. She's a Titans fan, by the way. Essentially, it summed up to this 9-year-old said to her after he did some moves, and JP, I'll have you help me with this a little bit
Now that we
later.
got video.
Is he going to get in trouble for doing that? And that the 9-year-old felt uncomfortable, and then the mom was offended. So I'm just kind of curious. And JP, I don't know what was offensive about it, but maybe you can shed some light on it for me.
But she lied. She was talking about Cam Newton was doing pelvic thrusts. Like,
Yeah,
the
I
dab
was- I
and
saw
hit
that.
them folks don't have no pelvic thrust.
Yeah.
Like, there are no pelvic thrusts. A 9-year-old does not elocute feelings like that at the age of 9. Like, is your child a brainiac? If that's the case, your child doesn't need to be at football games.
Yeah.
So the mom is offended. Why she's offended, that's a great question. She should probably go, like, read a book, maybe educate herself on spending her time more wisely, because this is just
on
absurd.
professional athletes in general and how they act at games, because that's just how most guys act. Like
Why does everybody hate
but is
Cam
it
Newton
right?
though? Why does everybody hate Cam
no,
Newton?
She puts
a good question,
in the letter. You know, you're a role model. You should. And first off, you know, does Cam Newton really? I mean, he's gotten better since college, but do you really want him to be your role model?
Cam Newton does the most public work with kids. He gives every touchdown ball to a child either
that
in
I will
need
give him
or
credit
having
for. That's
cancer
fantastic.
for. He's extremely philanthropic. Like, Cam Newton does a ton of charity, and it always goes unsung because he doesn't blast it himself.
Right. No, and to that, like, he even took the first touchdown from the game in Tennessee, threw it to Ed Dixon. Ed Dixon spiked it. Cam Newton went and got it, gave it to Dixon, told Dixon to go hand it into the crowd to somebody. So, like, I get that Cam Newton has, you know, changed his image a little bit, but at the same time, do you really want, you know, I don't know if I would ever raise my kids and be like, hey, I want them to be, you know, to aspire to be.
What's wrong with Cam Newton?
No,
I think you're trying to say you don't want to ever tell your child to aspire to be a pro athlete. That's what Charles Barkley always said. I'm not a role model. Right.
Yeah.
So,
I'm not going to ever tell them not to try to be one, but I don't think I want my kids' role models to be professional athletes, because there are a lot of bad apples out there, I think, more so than.
I don't know. I think this is actually interesting because I don't remember this when I was a kid, it being so taunting, if you will, and so much in your face standing over guys.
Guys
Like
didn't do that
when
when we
Roger
were
Craig would
younger.
score a touchdown, he'd spike the football and run back to the sideline.
Barry Sanders would just hand it to the official.
Sure.
Okay, but we had the Fun Bunch. The Fun Bunch didn't get hated on. Dion didn't get hated on.
I stepped
Deion
all
did
the way.
yeah,
Merton
yeah,
Hanks
that's
did the
true.
dirty
You're right.
bird.
Yeah,
so I guess
with
there
his
was some
neck.
taunting,
Well, it
but
progressively got
it just
more
feels
and more.
more.
No,
I don't
yeah.
know, doesn't it?
But who's being taunted? Like, who's being taunted?
He's not taunting the fans. He's taunting the whatever.
Right? Okay, well, in the same game, the same guy, Hayward and Williamson, did the stupid Drake dance after sacking Cam Newton. So then when Cam scores, it's an issue?
Yeah.
How's it an issue with anybody?
Great point. It's a great point.
Well, it's an issue with this woman. I could
Sure.
care less because
Oh,
I've
she's not the
accepted
only one.
that.
no,
no,
there's
no.
a lot of people
Like,
on
my
board
question,
with this.
why does everybody hate, what has Cam Newton done to people? Why does everybody hate Cam Newton? I'm watching Phillip Rivers tell the crowd to suck it.
Carson Palmer.
Excuse me, Carson Palmer, my bad. Carson Palmer is telling the crowd, they all don't look alike. Carson Palmer telling the crowd to suck it.
That's not helping.
But no, because I'm thinking because Phillip Rivers is also somebody who talks the most noise. Tom Brady is barking and cursing at people all game. Oh, he's a fiery competitor. But the first time Cam Newton does it, oh, he's a thug and this is terrible and
But
he doesn't
Tom
know
Brady
the game.
isn't doing the dab.
That's because Tom Brady don't have no rhythm.
Well, okay,
So
but
it's
I'm not,
okay for a
no,
pro
I'm
athlete
not
to cut
saying,
somebody out?
I'm not saying it. No. But Tom, okay, is Tom Brady like? Is he legit like
Yes.
pointing at the guy and in his
Saying
face?
F you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Phillip
you
Rivers
don't
is
think-
doing the same thing.
Yeah, okay. Cam's doing the same thing. He's just adding a dance move.
Okay,
to
we're
it.
telling the crowd to suck it, and nobody
I'm
said
not
anything
saying
about
what he
it.
did is appropriate. I'm just saying I accept that all professional athletes act this way now
Sure.
in the NFL. Like I don't like.
I just
I'm
feel
not,
like it's
that's
a
why I
lot
don't want
more
any of them want to be
than I
a role
remember.
model.
Somebody needs to adequately explain the hate for Cam Newton because it doesn't make sense and it's unwarranted.
I think it goes back to the college
past.
issues he had,
Yeah.
and people don't get over that. I think
they
that's
don't
what
let
it goes
go.
back to.
Yeah.
That's part of it. I think there's more to it than that.
Yeah, well,
But-
that's corny. The real
Well,
reason
that's part of it.
all the mobile quarterbacks get hated on, but they're mobile quarterbacks because they're athletic and they can dance,
Right.
and they can dance because they come from a culture where this is how you celebrate a score. Everybody else celebrates their score in their own special way.
I was going to let you say it, not me.
I mean, yeah, man, people hit on black quarterbacks all the time for no reason.
Well-
like, it needs to end quickly. Like, it needs to end. He's a top 3 quarterback in the league currently, and he should be the leader of the MVP race. He's done the most with the
I'll agree
least
with you
amount
on
of
that
help.
one.
Yeah.
I'll agree with you on that one.
Because MVP is the most valuable player to your team. If Cam Newton's not the quarterback of the Panthers, they're worse than the Redskins. Like, they're probably at the bottom. They're not the Bengals.
I will,
they're
I will
the Browns.
debunk
They're Cleveland.
your quarterback point though. Teddy Bridgewater has no rhythm.
Cannot dance.
Cannot dance.
Well, in any case, Cam Newton did respond to this woman and said, "I am who I am. If she's offended by that, I'm sorry, but
Yeah.
You know, and then
no,
a reporter,
to his credit, that was great.
You
Yeah.
know what? That's
Which
I'm
means
sorry. He apologized.
I'm a dab on you and hit them folks for
Show
the
me
rest
the
of
dab
the
because
season.
I don't. I'm trying to figure
actually,
this out.
Velasquez practiced
Let's see
better.
it. You got the dab for us?
Here it comes.
There it is.
Sorry, I didn't want to hit him in the face.
Yeah. All right. So I didn't know what that was, and Brandon, thank you for.
Shout out to Cam, man. Keep embarrassing people on a daily basis.
Something else that's kind of embarrassing for the sport of college football is something that was a topic of an ESPN article this week, Evan, something about the bowl games and eligibility. We've got a problem there.
Yeah, so there's 2 new bowl games this year, one in Orlando and one in northern Nogales.
Is it the Shula Bowl?
In Orlando? Might be.
They moving the Shula Bowl?
Yeah, and then that dirty city down south in Arizona. So a total of 41 bowl games this year. I can't say the word this
Northern
week.
Nogales?
No, I said Northern Nogales.
Okay.
And I can't say the word this week. I just can't do it. 41 bowl games in total, so you're going to need 80 teams needed to fill those games.
82?
Remember, no, there's the extra bowl game because it's 2 of them is the playoff.
Okay, San Jose State.
I know. Well, hold on. We'll get to that in a second. Go ahead.
So the issue is that because there's 80 teams needed out of 126 division.
Yeah, it's like 63%.
FBS schools. There is a possibility there could be teams with losing records filling bowl spots, and the NCAA has literally admitted that they don't know how they're going to rank the teams that are, say, 6 and 7, 5 and 7, and to fill those spots. Literally, there was some discussion about APR, the academic progress rate, determining those spots. And
my team has more academic All-Americans, so we're placed higher.
Okay, fair enough. The final tiebreaker, according to Keith Martin, the managing director of the NCAA, the final tiebreaker says that 5 and 7 teams are needed. The top 5 teams in the FBS with the best APR would be selected. The problem is that the teams that are in the top 5, Wisconsin, Northwestern, Duke, Michigan, and Stanford, are already bowl eligible. So do you just go down the list? Yep. Should it even be based on academic progress rate in terms of teams going to bowl games?
They're just going to sit in a room and flip a coin. They'll tell you this now, and they'll write this down on paper and put in an article, but nobody will see how they choose.
Yeah.
I read something, too, along with that, Evan, that said that there's going to be a lot of, like, back talk with like ADs and how many tickets can you guarantee me and that, you know, between the bowl organizing committee and so on.
Because why?
Cash money.
Because America's a business.
But that does bring up the point, and we talked about this a little bit last week with the high school playoffs. Should they just? I mean, why don't you bring up some? I guess you can't bring up FCS schools, but I'm saying less than 500 teams. Less than 500 teams making the postseason, and we could very easily be one of them because San Jose State's APR is actually in the high 900s, which surprisingly
975 according to this story,
which could get them an invite based on them being 5 and 7, assuming they win this weekend.
That's the 12th highest APR among
it's like,
teams.
I'd be excited to see them in a bowl game, but then again, it goes against my "you're not 500, you shouldn't be playing in the postseason."
You don't want to watch them playing toiletbowl.com. You don't.
The Shula Bowl.
I mean, I'd be happy for the paycheck. Can they just give them the money and then not play the game?
If they end up in the Shula Bowl, we can do the podcast from there live.
Like Southwest Louisiana State versus San Jose State.
Yeah,
you're gonna fly to. You're gonna fly to that game. No. Then it's not worth it.
And it's part of the argument that you and I had about this the other day is that now, okay, San Jose State gets allocated a certain number of tickets for that game, and they can't sell them all.
Right.
So they got to buy them. So they're going to lose money on those tickets. Yeah, they'll get some money from the TV rights and so forth. But I got to think that the amount of money that these universities get, I don't know for sure, on the smaller bowls is less than what it is on, say, this year, the Cotton Bowl or the Orange Bowl. You know?
Yeah.
So these schools, what's the point? Like, just cancel these stupid bowl games.
You don't need
limited
this many.
to 20.
Yeah.
You know, top 40 schools, top third get in. That's all you
almost
need.
like the participation, society that we live in where, okay, you didn't quite get over the hump, so you're still going to be allowed to play in a bowl game. Like, you shouldn't be rewarded for being under 500. Like, it's
mediocrity doesn't deserve anything but maybe next year.
Kudos to, you being a fine student athlete, but in terms of football,
this may not even be a problem. I mean, they may fill all the spots with 6 and 6 teams. It's possible they won't, but there's still a chance they could.
Right. And the other point, actually, in the story from ESPN that says a number of athletic directors have said that they don't want a 5 and 7 team to go to a bowl because a lot of their coaches have bonuses in their contracts.
Right. So they got to pay them.
Saying if you go to a bowl game, you get $100,000. Again, more reasons these schools are losing money that they should not be spending.
Tripping.
All right, well, bowl season is almost upon us.
Tripping.
So it is also another favorite time of year, and that would be what's it called, JP?
This would be cuffing season.
Let's get an update from our cuffing season correspondent, JP. How are things going for you this cuffing season?
I mean, as the Deepak Chopra of cuffing season, I feel like I need some more people to ask JP, starting with the New York Times. The New York Times, PD Menz, I believe, is the person. I'm not sure who PD is. PD tried.
Okay.
PD gave a semi-solid effort in explaining what it's like. Kind of didn't use the right terminology. Kind of didn't poll enough people.
So what are some of the mistakes that the PD made here?
PD was talking about the end goal was for women to get wifeyed up. Wifeyed up? I had to try to Google that term. I'm pretty sure that it's trying to get wifed. That's really not the main goal of cuffing season. You
Too many extra syllables.
Yeah, you usually don't wife people from cuffing. If you do find your franchise playing cuffing season, more power to you, but you usually just need this until it get hot outside, because then you're going to re-up again the next year. So that was kind of wrong. PD did also reference a fabulous track, Cuffing Season, that came out last year. That was also cool, but Fab is on a different level than the average Joe. So the women he was talking about in his Cuffing Season, like, you'll probably never see off of Instagram. So those references also didn't fly. Also, shout out to everybody who listened to the podcast. You too didn't use Cuffing Season wrong. We don't handcuff. This isn't 50 Shades of Grey. It's not S&M. We don't literally handcuff people. That's not how it works. Okay, yes, you want to be cuffed, but you don't need to get handcuffed. It's not like being arrested or something bad like that.
If you're into that, that's not a season. That's 365 days a year.
Exactly, and you might need to take those talents to a different type of podcast.
South Beach.
But I'm currently out of the cuffing season. I'm on a strictly consulting basis now.
Well, so that's what I was going to say.
We gotta ask.
There's a source that tells the Bullpen that cuffing expert Justin Perry is not indeed available to cuff
at this juncture.
It has already been cuffed.
We'll see. Shout out to my political connects. Okay.
I think I talked to one of your political connects.
Okay.
I think we got it from the political connects.
Right, that might have been true also. I'm gonna have to come back to you after I get my legal team involved. Okay. It just got a little hot in here. The lighting might be a little
Use
warm.
these Iowa socks to
Iowa
fan
socks.
yourself.
Yeah, I might have to just pat off.
Use a sweatband. You got the sweatband for a reason.
Should have just did this right here.
Well, we asked you to send us some questions about cuffing season 2, the hashtag AskJP. We got a couple here. Let's start with Lawrence, who actually had a couple questions for you, JP. The first one,
Lawrence is hilarious.
top music recommendations for a successful cuffing season.
I'm old school. I was talking to our esteemed colleague, Brian Cavan, who was cuffing back in like 1979. And I was thinking, I was like, back in the day, you'd play like some Jodeci, maybe some Luther. But I mean, we dealing with millennials now, and like these kind of ratchet chicks playing Trey Songz and Ty Dolla $ign. If that's what she's wanting, you might not want to cuff her.
Did Dan follow on Ratchet Chicks?
I'm gone.
Okay.
I lost you. Luther. I got that far.
All right.
Oh, well, that's a start.
Good,
That's
good,
better than
good.
normal.
Yeah.
Okay, hold up, Dan. Big
boy.
Luther or Lil Luther?
Oh, I was thinking Big Luther.
Good answer. Oh, look at Dan's on fire today. Okay, it's the alcohol.
Cheers.
So I would say we want to throw in some Jodeci. I'm throwing in some Genuine. I'd even throw in some Chris Brown, just to spice it up a little bit. Chris is cool. This one is not going to be popular amongst a lot of people, but you can't go wrong with no R. Kelly.
Oh, yeah.
R. Kelly, the king of R&B, and if R. Kelly come on, I'm sure your chances of getting it cracking just escalate exponentially.
All right, another question from Lawrence.
Awkward silence.
I'm just looking.
We're not going
I
to
know,
talk about
I
R.
don't
Kelly
know.
anymore. That's we're done.
If cuffing season activities were ranked by this college football playoff committee, what would they be? So give us your top 4 cuffing season activities.
Is there more than one activity with cuffing season?
And this is the thing that I was thinking about trying to be creative, and I was like, yes, horizontal cardio would have to be number 1. Okay, so that's number 1. I feel like, if we're
Is bowling a cuffing season activity?
Nah, man.
Mini golf?
Remember chicken wings and fries, we don't go on dates. She thinking Philippe, I'm thinking Chipotle. Like, you're not trying to put out all that cash during the cuffing season. That's how you got to have your game tight.
Oh, man.
Being a cuffing season GM, actually searching the waiver wire just in case you have to cut someone, I feel like that's an activity that the committee would probably rank like, number 4. Number 2 versus 3.
2 versus 3.
Right now I'm just thinking like Condoleezza Rice, and I'm struggling.
Oh, see, hold on. I want to go back to what you said for number 1.
Well, she's a part of the committee.
You said number 1, horizontal cardio. See, that feels like that's the Alabama. It's the old school, the always there,
So that would be number 2.
so that would
always
be
at
number
the
2?
top at the end of the season.
So who's the Clemson? What's the Clemson this year?
You would have to be in the Clemson if you wanted to swap number 1.
Shades of Grey.
Yeah, that might be your favorite person talking about handcuffing season.
But it lets you down in the end, though. It's got to be something that in the end disappoints you.
50 Shades of Grey, I would assume. I never saw
I got
the
it.
movie.
Never saw
I
it.
didn't
Got
read
a
the
whole-
books.
So does that mean like the Red Room of Pain is the new number 1?
There it is.
Okay, then I guess the horizontal cardio would have to be the 3. Just because it's Alabama, so you can't put Alabama too high because they actually might lose you one. Okay, they're not always undefeated. They're not always undefeated.
This got way too
Yeah, it
confusing
did.
for everybody.
All right.
Thanks, Lawrence, for confusing everyone for
Yeah.
no reason, being as you already had your own in order. And this dude is like low-key a cuffing season Hall of Famer, but he doesn't want to act like he is, so I just outed you on the internet just because.
Our last question from Andy, tweets at the Bullpen Pod. Why does Pat Forde hate America's heartland, JP?
I think Pat Forde really just likes to throw kidney shots at Andy Behrens in Iowa. Behrens has wanted Iowa to break into the 40 Fab Four for over a month. They are undefeated. They're very
Number 5.
boring.
They're number 5.
Well, and here's a great point they made last night during the college football playoff review show or preview, whatever it was, that Iowa fans shouldn't be complaining about where they're ranked because if they just win out, they're going to be in.
They'll make
Yeah,
it because
that's
they'll win the Big Ten
Just
and that'll
win
get them the
out,
4th spot.
and they're in. So I understand that they don't feel like they're getting the respect, but just win out.
So I mean,
Shout out
hopefully,
to Iowa
I
and all
really
their
want.
swag.
I ended up with 2 pairs of socks out of this deal.
Well, so you and Jaden can match. You and your son
There's no
can
way I'm
walk
going to
around.
fit into these.
You want?
there's
you want,
no way.
You
Give them
want
to the
these ones?
wife.
Actually,
Give
yeah,
them
I'll
to
take
the
all
wife.
3
Wear
socks.
those.
Thank you.
Wear those to hockey or something.
Yeah, get a family photo, all 3 of you.
Hawkeyes hockey.
There you go.
All right.
But yeah, Forde doesn't really hate the Heartland. I feel like he just wants to punk Andy Behrens when it comes to Iowa. So, and he's winning. Clearly, he's winning.
Yeah. Well, thanks for your tweets, and feel free to tweet us this week at the Bullpen Pod, hashtag AskJP. You can also tweet Justin directly if you so choose.
No handcuffs, please. No
handcuffs.
No handcuffs.
It is
And
not
that's a
that
shot.
time of year. All right, we talked about this a bit last week. I want to get to it. The James Bond movie did come out about a week and a half ago now, and Brandon, you got a chance to see it.
Fantastic.
Overall thoughts?
I thought it was good.
Yeah?
It was less action, more story, but I enjoyed that. I enjoyed the story itself. A lot of throwbacks to old James Bond movies. A lot of throwback moments. A lot of subtle, like there's a point where like there's a little like lap cat.
Oh, nice.
And it's not actually sitting in the guy's lap, but it hops up at some point. You're just kind of like, oh, yeah. So a nice little spin at the end, and you're kind of thinking if this might be Daniel Craig's last one or it might not. I know he's under contract for another one, but I enjoyed it. It was very good.
I'm glad you brought that up about the old ones because I'm interested to know what you guys think. The top 5 James Bond movies gross, and they are adjusted for inflation. So if you're a James Bond fan, you know some of the old ones.
Oh.
I'll be very curious to know what you think.
Pierce Brosnan.
Pierce Brosnan, and I knew that was going to be the first thing because that's what you said last week, is not on this list. There is not a Pierce
Really?
Brosnan
Goldeneye
movie
is not on that list?
That's blasphemy.
not.
Come on, that's one of the
Honorable
best-
mention at number 6, Die Another Day.
Wow.
At $230 million. That is adjusted for inflation.
Does anybody not remember the video game that was spawned from that movie?
The video
Number
game
7?
probably made the more money than the movie.
Number 7, Tomorrow Never Dies. Another Pierce Brosnan, but he did not make
Goldeneye
either of
was
those.
Is
money.
Skyfall on there?
Skyfall number 3, actually on this list, $315
Because that was the
million
most
adjusted
recent
for
one. I
inflation.
figured it was pretty big.
Think about some of the most iconic.
Goldfinger. Is that on there?
Goldfinger number 2 at in today's dollars would be $550.
Connery?
Yeah, and Connery is on here 3 times.
Dr. No, is that on there?
Nope.
Ooh.
Wow.
The one that I was really surprised by.
I always thought that maybe the first one of each guy, like the first Pierce Brosnan one, which was Goldeneye, Casino Royale, is that on there? That's the first Daniel Craig one.
It is not.
Oh.
Skyfall's the only Daniel Craig one on here. I've only got 2 more. Number 1, and this is why I was surprised because it's not really like one you think of initially, but Thunderball is the top at $623 million,
Holy
adjusted for
smokes.
inflation, of course. It only made $63 million in 1965. And the last one, or number 4, You Only Live Twice, another Sean Connery. And at number 5, any guesses?
Is it Live or Let Die?
Is Goldfinger on there?
No, yeah. Yeah,
Goldfinger's number 2.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Dr. No?
No.
Moonraker with Roger Moore.
Wait, a Roger Moore one made it on there?
That's
Number
garbage.
5.
That doesn't make sense. That's never going to be above Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah.
It's made $70 million.
That
in
actually
1979.
angers me more than anything else. About
We
that
probably
list.
need to go back and recount the dollar amounts because there's an
This
inconsistency
is Box
somewhere.
Office Mojo. They're pretty much known for this. Anyway, I thought it was interesting to know.
Everyone
that
makes mistakes.
None of our James Bonds are really in the top 5. I mean, other than Daniel Craig for Skyfall. And that was really only because Adele sung that song. Just kidding.
It's catchy. It's in my head already.
All right. Let's wrap up the show here with our one-line game previews. Some big matchups in college football this week. Brandon, JP, will have you take these. JP, you want to do the Big Ten?
We could do that.
All right. So Ohio State, 13.5-point favorites. They are ranked number 3 in the college football playoff rankings against Michigan State. 13.5 points seems like a lot.
Zeke wins it late because Urban Meyer only gives Zeke the rock when it matters. So when the game's on the line, Zeke busts through the whole long run, touchdown, game over.
Zeke wins it late. Brobes,
like
Big 12?
We're doing Oklahoma State.
Yeah. Oklahoma State, ranked 6. Number
Baylor
10,
bounces back.
Baylor bounces back, knocks off the undefeated Oklahoma State.
Just
Cowboys.
because that Big 12 cluster F, it's just kind of, whirlwind. It just seems right that Baylor wins this week after losing last week. And so.
JP, you want to take the last one?
We could do that.
Oklahoma, number 7. Number 18, TCU.
Horned Frogs embarrassed.
Embarrassed.
Ooh.
Yeah, they're done. Stick a fork in them.
Looks that way.
LaDainian Tomlinson now walking through that door.
Evan's going to handle the NFL this week. This is we'll call it the game of the week. Packers, Vikings. Vikings with a 1-game lead in the North. Evan?
I'll go Pack back on track. I think they figured it out. I know Minnesota's playing really well. The defense is really solid, but Green Bay's won 9 of 11, including a tie in this series. I just think they just have the Vikes
There
number.
was a tie in that series.
Yeah,
I forgot about that
26-26.
game.
Evan's rapping now. He's got that headband on. He's
Yeah,
like,
what up?
better than Marky Mark. You could be in for Halloween.
Bengals at 8-1. The Cardinals 7-2. Sunday night?
Sunday night.
Sunday night in Arizona, yeah, this is a really interesting one. I'm going to go with Cardinals turn Andy into BB gun. I think Bengals struggle again. That Arizona D is tough. And I'm taking J.J. Watt's line.
That's secondary.
I threw
Secondary
this one in
for sure.
there because they're undefeated, and you just never know.
It's a
Patriots,
Monday night game.
yeah, Patriots
Rex
9-0
versus the Patriots.
Yeah, Patriots 9-0, Bills 5-4 Monday night.
Pats survive scare from Rex. I think Buffalo's going to play this game really close. New England's got to play without Edelman. Obviously, they have a week to get used to that, and an extra night as well. But I think Buffalo's going to challenge them. I think Patriots still win, though.
All right, Patriots.
I know I'm going over the
Patriots
line, but-
move to 10-0.
God, you are just going way out there.
Oh, it's great.
Got to explain it.
Crazy talk.
First and foremost, we are all fans here in the bullpen, so we'll take a look at what our teams are doing this weekend. We will start with the game of the weekend.
Oh, wow.
The Iowa headband comes off for this. We have our final score predictions each and every week. Both of these gentlemen over here, Evan and Brandon, went to Arizona State University, and they will be playing their friends from the dirty town to the south?
Northern
Arizona?
Nogales Tech.
Yeah, that. Arizona ASU this weekend. It is a pick'em, according to the odds makers right now.
Garbage.
Blasphemy.
Brandon, you're up.
Hashtag prop 200.
ASU wins 33-27.
What jerseys are we wearing? Do you know?
They're wearing the
They're gonna be
granite color,
Adidas.
the break the rock ones.
Nice.
Yeah.
But they're Adidas.
Better than that copper crap that
Yeah.
But they're still Adidas.
the Wildcats wear. I'm going to go 31-17. ASU.
What's the last team that
Regardless-
wore Adidas to win a big game?
The cup's coming back home
Got me.
where it belongs.
I wish you guys would have never left
Tempe.
Nike. That's a curse.
I like the Adidas stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I'm coming around to it. I'd like Nike too, though.
USC at Oregon, JP. The Ducks 4-point favorites here.
Finally picking a Trojan upset because they will play up to their potential in a big game because they don't want to be embarrassed in Eugene. Probably be a lot of points scored in this one, hopefully. Let's go Trojans 39, Oregon 37.
Nice. Close one. San Jose State 10-point favorites at Hawaii. This is a 9 o'clock Pacific kickoff on pay-per-view. So
Jet lag.
yeah, seriously.
On pay-per-view.
It's on. What's on that Oceanic? You can't watch it. You can't watch it
On pay-per-view.
I know. I'm
Do
just
they
saying.
pay you to view it?
Probably. No, I mean, these Hawaii games are on this
Yeah, I
random
know,
pay-per-view
yeah.
channel. Thank you
Yeah.
very much. San Jose State 10-point favorites. I think they cover that easy. I think they're coming off this game against Nevada. I think they're going to win like 38-20.
Don't
would be
sleep
my
on the
guess.
fight in June
No,
Jones.
they're not good this year.
Is June Jones still the coach there?
All right, moving on to the NFL.
Wait, he just gonna brush past that?
Yeah,
How much
I'm
does
gonna
the game cost on pay-per-view to watch
I
San
don't
Jose
know.
State play?
No, it's like literally listed in the list. It says Oceanic pay-per-view. You can't watch it here.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I mean, I guess I could see how much it costs. If it's $100, I'm not going to pay for it.
I've heard it all.
Yeah. 49ers Seahawks. We're going to the NFL now. Evan will start 49ers Seahawks. 13.5-point favorites.
Oh, that might not be enough. This is going to get ugly. Gabbert gets his first taste of the 12th man up there. Since we can't say that now. I think Lynch gets back on track finally. Let's go 31-10 Seattle.
You're not allowed to say 12th man?
You know, it was the whole trademark thing with Texas A&M. Couldn't use the 12th man
Well,
phrase.
it finally came hammering down.
Yep.
Interesting.
I'm actually going to say the 49ers cover here. For some reason, I think and people are going to start believing in Blaine Gabbert. It's not going to be close, but I think it's going to be closer than 13. It might be 13.
And when he says people,
the hook
he
may
means
play.
himself.
Are you too?
No, I'm just it could be.
How many
it could be
interceptions does he throw?
23-10,
How many picks
But I
does he
just
throw?
think, I mean, it's 49ers Seahawks. It's a rivalry. I don't know.
It's
Have
in
that feeling.
Seattle though.
3,
I know that.
3, 7, and 3. That's how many points the Niners have scored the last 3 games against Seattle.
So add them all together, and I've got
13.
Yeah, 24-13 is my final score. All right, Redskins Panthers. JP, your boy Cam, a 7-point favorite in this game.
Yeah, Cam gonna be dabbing and hitting them folks all over
I was
the
going to say,
place.
should we throw the number over under 2.5 dabs that he throws on your squad?
I mean, he's actually cool
Taking the
with
over?
a lot of the DBs on the Redskins, so he's still gonna do his dance. Like he's still gonna clown, but I think the Redskins still lose this one. Let's go Panthers 27, Redskins 13.
Final for this week. We already got our one-line game preview, but Brobes, we'll give you your take here. It's a pick 'em Vikings Packers.
I'll stick with what he was saying. As much as I love my guys, this game scares the crap out of me. I might actually not be watching it. I might have plans. So, which might actually be.
Do tell.
Well, no, I might. Yeah.
What?
Oh wow.
A girlfriend's friend's birthday party at the same time, so you got to be the. You gotta
Understood.
You got to do the thing.
Hey, part of the deal.
Which
gotta
might
do the
actually
thing.
work out in the end
Oh.
because either that or I watch this game and I lose 5 years off my life like I do every time I watch the Vikings and the Packers. So
The final score?
Packers 31-20.
All right. Well, we'll see what happens this week. Hopefully some of us are right or wrong about these.
Hopefully I'm wrong.
Hopefully, yeah.
Hopefully I'm dead
Hopefully we're
wrong.
wrong about the 49ers too, but they're not going to win. I think that's going to do it for this week here in the bullpen. Guys, any final thoughts?
I'm still trying to tell people to shoot their shot.
Shoot your shot.
You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Or
Thank you,
perfect your
Gretzky.
pass, which is what we saw at the arcade the other night.
Perfection pass.
I'm probably the leader in all-time cuffing season assists. 100%. The Twitter sphere can vouch for me.
You're the John Stockton.
Yo, a black Twitter can be like, you know what? JP done put a lot of us on over the years. A lot of us. Oh yeah, I got those stories for days.
Well, we've got 2 weeks now to get JP
Yeah.
some more cuffing season stories before we.
Yeah, man. I know some of your rosters are in shambles because I seen them. Okay, come get some GM help, man. We can resurrect this before it gets too cold outside and you miss out. I don't want you to miss out.
All right, feel free to tweet us at the Bullpen Pod if you want to comment on the show, ask us a question. We're going to be off next week, but we will be back that first week of December for more here in the Bullpen. Gentlemen, thanks so much as always, and happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Go Devils.